Vega 9 was one of Earth's newest colonies. It was far from the main solar systems, placed on the edge of the explored galaxy. The planet had green forests, clear blue lakes, and mountains taller than clouds. Thousands of humans lived there peacefully. Farmers, engineers, teachers, children. Life was simple, safe, happy. Every day, the colony sent routine messages back to Earth Command. Reports about farming, construction, weather, and school events. But then, one day, the messages stopped. At first, no one on Earth noticed. It wasn't strange for a signal to be late. But when 2 days passed without a single word from Vega 9, Earth Command grew concerned. Commander Rachel Miles, the officer in charge of distant colonies, ordered a deep scan of the Vega system. Try to reach them again, she told her team. Use backup frequencies. They tried. Nothing. She sent a drone to investigate. It would take 6 hours to reach Vega 9. The team watched the screens in silence. But when the drone got close to Vega 9's orbit, it vanished. No explosion, no signal loss, just gone. Did it crash? One officer asked. No impact detected, the technician replied. It was erased, like it was never there. Commander Miles felt a cold fear in her chest. She knew this was not a normal situation. Alert the Defense Council, she said. Something's very wrong. 5 hours later, a civilian ship appeared near Earth. It wasn't on the flight schedule. It was small, damaged, and barely holding together. Earth Command ordered it to land at the secure spaceport. Emergency crews rushed in. Inside, they found only one survivor, a young girl, about 10 years old. Her clothes were torn. Her eyes were wide and empty. She was in shock. Where are your parents? The doctor asked gently. She didn't speak. She just stared ahead, holding something in her arms. It was a worn-out teddy bear. The doctors tried to scan her. No wounds, no physical injuries, but her heart rate was high. Her brain showed signs of trauma. She had seen something terrible. After a few hours, Commander Miles entered the medical room. She knelt beside the girl. My name is Rachel. I'm here to help you, she said softly. Can you tell me what happened? The girl didn't speak. Rachel reached for the bear. What's his name? Captain Cuddles, the girl whispered. Rachel smiled. That's a strong name. Did Captain Cuddles help you escape? The girl slowly nodded. Can you tell me what happened on Vega 9? The girl looked into Rachel's eyes. Her lips trembled. And then she spoke, her voice shaking, but clear. They came from the sky, big ships, like shadows. They dropped on the cities. Lights, loud lights, and buzzing sounds. Rachel listened carefully. Did they attack? The girl shook her head. No, not like war. They didn't destroy everything. They took people, lifted them into the sky, like toys. Rachel frowned. Did you see who they were? The girl nodded slowly. Tall, no faces, just metal, and something behind them. Big, breathing, watching. Rachel felt a chill crawl down her spine. The girl whispered, they didn't just kill. They collected people, like harvesting. Then she collapsed into Rachel's arms, exhausted. The next day, Earth Command met in a secret room deep under the Capitol. The top generals, scientists, and leaders sat around a black table. Commander Rachel stood before them. The colony is gone, she said. No signals, no survivors, except for one girl. No damage to the planet itself. Buildings untouched. It wasn't an invasion. It was a collection. Who did it? Asked General Royce. We don't know, Rachel replied. No known alien empire uses this method. No warnings, no demands. Dr. Keller, the lead scientist, added, we scanned the ship the girl arrived in. There was an unknown energy reading, like nothing we've ever seen. Some kind of organic tech, not human. not from any known race. The room went silent. Then Rachel placed a data chip on the table. The girl remembered one word. It was written on one of the ships. She couldn't read it, but she remembered the shape. The chip showed the symbol. Everyone stared. It looked ancient, alien, almost like it was alive. Dr. Keller's face turned pale. "I've seen that before," he whispered. "In old files, locked ones. This is from a species that disappeared over 3,000 years ago." "They're extinct," said General Royce. Keller shook his head. "Maybe not." Rachel stood tall. "If they're back, then Vega 9 was only the beginning." Earth was quiet, but inside the command rooms, fear had begun to spread. Vega 9 wasn't just lost, it was taken. And no one knew who did it. Commander Rachel Miles sat in her private office. The lights were dim, and the air was cold. She kept looking at the data from the girl's ship. Over and over. It didn't make sense. She whispered to herself, "How do you fight something you can't even see?" Suddenly, her door opened. It was Dr. Keller, the scientist from the meeting. "I found something," he said, holding a small black case. Rachel looked at him. "What is it?" "An old file, buried deep in Earth's military archives, hidden since the first galactic expansion, over 2,000 years ago." He placed the case on the table and opened it. Inside was a tiny golden cube. When activated, it floated and glowed. A recording played. A deep, crackling voice spoke in a frightened tone. "To those who find this, leave, run, hide. They are not gods, but worse. They erase life, not because they hate, but because they are hungry." Rachel's eyes widened. "Who recorded this?" "A scout team from the lost colony on Theta 4, Keller said. "That colony vanished 1,982 years ago. No one knew why." Rachel's hands tightened into fists, and the council covered it up. Keller nodded. They knew something. They hid the truth. Meanwhile, in a dark corner of space, far from Earth, a fleet of unknown ships floated in silence. They looked like black bones, long and sharp. Some were shaped like insect wings. Others pulsed like they were alive. Inside one of them, a tall figure moved through the shadows. It was not machine, not fully alive. Its body shimmered, changing shape like smoke in water. It whispered in a voice that didn't use words, but the meaning was clear. "The first harvest has begun. More are waiting. The flesh world will soon kneel." Behind the figure, thousands of sleeping humans floated in strange pods. Their eyes closed, their minds silent. The ship powered up. Back on Earth, Rachel met with Admiral Hunt, a strong, quiet man known for commanding the Shadow Fleet. "Admiral," she said, "we may be facing something that wiped out colonies thousands of years ago." The Admiral didn't flinch. "Then it's time we bring out the weapons they tried to forget." Rachel looked confused. "What do you mean?" Admiral Hunt pressed a button on his wrist. A hidden wall in the room slid open, revealing a map. It showed the Dark Belt, the forbidden region near Earth space. "No one goes there," Rachel said. "That's what they told the public," Hunt replied. "But in truth, Earth hid something there long ago. Something powerful. Something built to fight them." Rachel leaned forward. "What is it?" "A ship, not just any ship," Hunt said. "A Sentinel-class warcraft. Human technology mixed with something older. Alien tech we found during our first deep space explorations." Rachel's eyes widened. "You're talking about the Gravedigger Project." "That was a myth." "It's real," Hunt said. "And we may need it now." At the same time, the girl from Vega 9 finally spoke more. In a therapy room, with a kind nurse beside her, she drew pictures. She drew the sky breaking open, the ships falling like knives, the people rising into the air without screaming. She drew the symbol again. The nurse asked softly, "Why didn't they take you?" The girl looked down. Because I wasn't afraid. The nurse blinked. What do you mean? I was hiding, the girl said. Inside the old mine tunnels. They couldn't see me there. They only take the ones who feel fear. The nurse froze. This was a key detail. They weren't just using technology. They could sense emotions. Rachel and Admiral Hunt stood on the bridge of a special stealth cruiser, heading toward the dark belt. Stars zipped past the window. If these things are emotion sensitive, Rachel said, then our usual weapons may not work. Fear is their guide. Then we need soldiers who don't feel fear, Hunt replied. Rachel frowned. That doesn't exist. But Hunt smiled coldly. It does. They're not soldiers. They're prisoners. Rachel looked shocked. You're activating the Iron Unit. They were created for total war, built to survive anything. No fear, no mercy. And now, they're the best chance we've got. As the ship neared the dark belt, the stars began to disappear, one by one. Black mist covered space. Signals stopped working. Even sound inside the ship felt heavier. And then, on the radar, something moved. It was big. Too big. Rachel stared at it. That's not a ship. Hunt nodded. That's a city, the living city. And in the center of it, the symbol glowed. The same one the girl had drawn. The same one from the dead colony's warning. Rachel whispered, the real war has just begun. The ship entered the dark belt. Everything outside turned black. No stars, no light, just darkness and silence. Rachel stood on the bridge, watching the scanners go blind. We've lost visuals, she said. Admiral Hunt looked calm. It's normal here. The gravedigger doesn't want to be found. The crew didn't speak. Everyone felt the pressure in their chests, like space itself was watching them. Then the ship's eye spoke. Warning. Unknown energy field ahead. Hull stress levels rising. Suddenly, something massive appeared in front of them. Not a ship. A monster of steel and silence. The gravedigger. It was Earth's most secret war machine. The size of a small moon. Shaped like a floating dagger with spiked towers and dark energy veins running across its hull. No lights. No signs of life. Just dead silence. Rachel's voice trembled. Is it asleep? Admiral Hunt nodded. Since the last war, it only wakes when called. He opened a locked case. Inside was a small device with an old human symbol, a skull wrapped in wings. He pressed it. Far in space, the gravedigger's core began to glow blood red. The silence broke. T-H-O-O-M, T-H-O-O-M, T-H-O-O-M. Slow, heavy sounds like a heartbeat. The ship was alive. Inside the gravedigger, ancient systems powered on. Giant machines turned. Old weapons unfolded like metal wings. Thousands of sleeping drones, warbits, and AI guardians opened their eyes for the first time in centuries. A deep voice echoed through space, not from a human. From the gravedigger itself. Identity like and HFY. Earth Command KOD HCCAPTID. Preparing for war. Rachel stared at the view. It's talking. The gravedigger is not just a ship, Hunt said. It's a weapon with a mind. One that remembers everything. Rachel took a step forward. Can it fight them? Hunt looked at her. It was built for them. Meanwhile, back near Vega 9's ruins, a patrol ship vanished. No signal, no wreckage, just gone. But one short message escaped before it was lost. A single image. A city-sized alien ship, shaped like bone and mist, floating above Vega's ashes. And one sentence. They're building something. They're not finished. Back on Earth, scientists worked nonstop. They tested the girl's blood, her brain, her memories. Something was strange. She had seen the alien ships, heard their voices, but she was not affected. One doctor said, her brain waves don't match normal humans. It's like she adapted. Another whispered, maybe fear changes people. Maybe she's the first to survive it. The council, still silent, began to panic in secret. Rachel and Hunt boarded the gravedigger. Its halls were giant, dark, and cold. They walked across massive bridges, past weapons bigger than buildings. One screen showed files from the last time the gravedigger was used, over 2,000 years ago. Aliens, burning planets, human fleets losing. Until the gravedigger appeared. It didn't win the war. It ended it, by destroying both sides. Rachel frowned. It's dangerous. Hunt nodded. That's why we buried it. But now, she said, we dig it up. Far across the galaxy, the enemy was preparing too. The Dark Fleet had reached another human colony, Riven Prime. The colony had over 2 million people. In minutes, it was gone. No explosions, no battle. Just silence, and black dust floating in orbit. The aliens didn't conquer. They erased. Back on the gravedigger, Rachel gave her first command. Activate full battle systems. Wake all defense protocols. Prepare the old codes. The ship's voice responded. Calm and firearmed. Earth Protocol. Do old MSS IELD online. Hostile entity DGTCTD in CC-9. Suddenly, a small enemy scout ship appeared on the edge of the dark belt. It didn't attack. It just watched. Rachel narrowed her eyes. They found us. Hunt said, let them look. The last time they saw the gravedigger, they ran. Rachel answered, this time, they won't have a chance. The gravedigger powered up fully. Weapons locked. Engines roared. The sleeping beast of Earth had returned. The galaxy didn't understand what was coming. The gravedigger had awakened, but the enemy had already begun its plan. In a quiet system called Saren 3, a mining colony went dark. No message, no distress call. Only one thing remained. Dust. A single satellite caught it. Millions of human bodies turned into gray ash, floating like snow in space. No weapon fire, no damage to the colony. Just emptiness. On board the gravedigger, Admiral Hunt stared at the screen. They're not invading, he said quietly. They're erasing. Rachel clenched her fists. We have to stop them. The ship's A replied. Threat il evil. He ext he in sea chuan. Hostiles, APPROHHAing human core systems. Action required. Hunt gave the command. Set course for Saren 3. Max power. All weapons online. The gravedigger moved like a ghost through space. Even in full power, it made no sound. No bright engines. Just shadows and deadly silence. As it neared Saren 3, the crew saw the remains of the colony. Floating buildings, shattered domes, and the ash. Rachel whispered, they killed everything. Suddenly, beep, 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 a warning. Unknown object detected. Outside, a ship emerged. Not like anything humans had seen before. Long, twisted, bone-colored. It didn't have engines. It floated like it swam in space. Rachel stared. Is that a ship? Hunt answered, no, that's a Reaper. The alien ship turned toward them. No sound. Then it fired. A single pulse of dark red energy came from its front, aimed straight at the gravedigger. Evasive action, Hunt shouted. But the gravedigger didn't move. Instead, its ancient shield activated. A cube of crackling white light surrounded the ship. The alien pulse hit it, and stopped, frozen in place. Rachel blinked. It didn't even leave a scratch. The AI voice responded. Shield strength, 99.8%. Enemy ATCK ineffective. Hunt smiled for the first time. Now, let's show them what real firepower is. The gravedigger returned fire. One blast. Not a missile. Not a laser. A cannon made from pure gravity and light. It hit the alien ship. Boom. The Reaper didn't explode. It crumbled, like dry bones turning to dust in a storm. Gone in seconds. Rachel was shocked. That's it. One shot. The AI replied, "They are not gods. They bleed." But back in the shadows, the real enemy watched. Not just one Reaper. Thousands, hidden behind dark clouds and dead systems, moving slowly, quietly, waiting. One of them spoke, but not with words. A signal, not to humans, but to other alien races. The humans have awakened their death ship. Prepare the cycle. The erasure begins now. Back on Earth, the girl, Eva, screamed in her sleep. She saw them. She saw everything. The Reapers, the ash, the black signal. Doctors tried to calm her. They scanned her brain. One whispered, "She's not just seeing them. She's connected to them." The council finally spoke after weeks of silence. One message: activate Omega Protocol. Every colony must prepare for war. In orbit above Earth, old warships were being reactivated. Massive hangars opened. Thousands of drones, tanks, and AI soldiers were pulled from cold storage. For the first time in 2,000 years, Earth prepared for total war. The people were confused. Why now? Why return to the old ways? Because the galaxy was dying, and only one force had ever made the enemy fear: humanity. Rachel and Hunt stood on the bridge of the Gravedigger. Their faces were hard now. No fear, only purpose. She looked at the map. More colonies were going silent. Faster now. She asked, "Can we stop it?" Hunt replied, "Not yet, but we can slow it down. And buy Earth time." The AI spoke again. "NUWSIGNALDTKCTED. Massive energy spikes in nebulae CC2R. High probability of reappear ASMBI." Rachel didn't hesitate. "Set course. We go now." The Gravedigger turned once again. This time, toward the heart of the enemy. The Gravedigger moved fast, cutting through the black emptiness toward the nebula sector. Outside, the stars blurred into streaks. The crew held their breath. Rachel stood on the bridge, watching the screen. The Reapers are gathering. This won't be easy. Admiral Hunt nodded. "They want to destroy us before we can fight back." The ship's AI spoke calmly. "Reaper Feliki size estimated over 2,000 units. Hostile activity intensifying." Suddenly, the ship's alarm screamed. "Multiple contacts incoming," shouted the weapons officer. On the view screen, hundreds of Reaper ships appeared like a dark storm. They moved like a single living thing. No hesitation, no fear, just cold death. Rachel gritted her teeth. "Prepare all weapons, ready drones for battle." Hunt said, "This is what the Gravedigger was made for." The Reaper fleet attacked. Energy pulses and beams lit up space. The Gravedigger fired back. Its weapons were old, but powerful. Each blast tore through the enemy ships like paper. But there were too many. Explosions shook the Gravedigger. The ship rocked. The crew held tight. Inside the ship, Rachel felt the weight of history. She thought about the fallen colony, the humans who were gone. She whispered, "We fight for them." Hunt answered, "And for all humanity." The battle grew worse. One Reaper ship broke through the shield. It fired a dark beam that hit the Gravedigger's hull. Warning lights flashed. "Hull breach in Sector 7, the engineer cried. Rachel ran to the damage control room. She saw fire and sparks. Crew rushed to fix it. Suddenly, a new sound echoed through the ship. A deep, growling voice. It was the Gravedigger itself. "NY presents DGTCTD. Initiating CO human TRMEAs UREs." The ship's ancient systems roared to life. Massive guns rotated. Energy cannons charge. The gravedigger was waking fully. Outside, the Reapers hesitated. They saw the massive weapons. They felt the power of the ancient ship. One Reaper commander sent a message. Retreat. The beast awakens. But the signal came too late. The gravedigger fired a giant blast. The dark storm broke apart. Ships exploded like fireworks. The enemy fleet scattered. The gravedigger stood alone in the silence. Rachel smiled tiredly. We bought time. Hunt looked at her. The war is just beginning. Far away, the council watched in shock. Humanity is stronger than we thought, one said. Another whispered, if they have the gravedigger, we may have lost. Back on the gravedigger, Rachel looked at the stars. She said softly, this is only the start. We will fight. We will survive. The ship hummed beneath her feet. A silent promise. The gravedigger was damaged, but still moving. Its shields flickered like a heartbeat. Rachel and Admiral Hunt stood side by side on the bridge. This is it, Hunt said. The last line before Earth. Behind them, the crew worked fast. Repair teams rushed through the corridors. Every second counted. The AI warned. Enemy reinforcements 8p por oachang. Reaper fleetes reasm bilang. Rachel clenched her fists. We can't let them get closer. The stars ahead glowed with a strange red light. The nebula sector was full of danger. Suddenly, the sensors detected a new threat. A massive ship, bigger than anything before. It moved slowly, but with deadly purpose. Hunt's voice was grim. That's the Reaper Queen. The Queen was the command ship. Destroy it, and the enemy fleet would fall apart. But it was heavily guarded. The gravedigger prepared for battle. All weapons charged. Drones launched like swarms of angry bees. The Reaper Queen fired first. A massive beam of black energy. The gravedigger's shields groaned but held. Rachel shouted, return fire. Target the Queen. The battle was brutal. Blasts shook the ship. Fires broke out. The crew pushed through exhaustion. Rachel stood firm. She thought of every lost colony, every innocent life. We fight for them, she whispered. The gravedigger's weapons pierced the Queen's armor. Cracks appeared on the alien ship's hull. The Queen's energy beam faltered. Suddenly, the Queen released a pulse. It was a shockwave of dark energy. The gravedigger shook violently. Lights went out for seconds. Then, power surged back. The Queen was dying, but it sent one last message. You cannot stop the cycle. The erasure will come. Rachel smiled. We will be ready. The Queen exploded in a storm of fire and shards. The Reaper fleets faltered and began to retreat. Hunt said, we bought Earth time. But the war isn't over. Rachel looked to the stars. We will rise. Always. The Reaper fleets were retreating. The gravedigger floated quietly in space. The battle was over. For now. Rachel and Admiral Hunt stood on the bridge, tired but alive. The stars shone bright ahead. Back on Earth, the news spread fast. The colonies had survived. The enemy was beaten back. People cheered in the streets. They believed in hope again. Rachel sent a message to Earth. The enemy is not gone, but they are broken. We will protect humanity. Always. Hunt added, this is just the beginning. We will rebuild, and we will grow stronger. The gravedigger moved toward Earth. Inside, the crew prepared for the next fight. They knew the war was far from over. But humanity had shown the galaxy something important. A single message echoed across the stars. We are here. We will not fall. We will rise. The new dawn for humanity had begun. The galaxy would never forget.